She is a graduate of John Hope High School, where she was a 4-year varsity starter, team captain, all-city, all-state, all-academic, and honorable mention All-America. She continued her education in playing at Louisiana State University, better known as LSU, where she was a 3-year starter, co-captain, participated in 3 NCAA tournaments, 1 Final Four, and was on the 2008 SEC championship team. She received her BA in communications from LSU, her master's in athletic administration from Western Kentucky. After college, she played professionally in Europe, Germany to be exact. Her next move was on to coaching at Lemoyne Owen, then on to Kentucky State, where she spent 4 years and was named interim head coach prior to the pandemic. Along with being a great player, great coach, she is a motivational speaker and award-winning author. She has a bestseller entitled A Life of Wins and Losses. With adversity comes resilience. Please welcome to WVON, Latia Eason. Welcome, Tia.
Thank you, Clyde. You made me sound so good.
Hey, I love it when I can blow up people that need to be blown up. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you're not shortstop. And I just look back at those days watching you play in high school and following your career. And, I mean, it's been a tough road to success, but every road, I'm telling you, the book is riveting. I'm be honest with you. I know I'm getting my autographed copy, but I couldn't wait. I had to borrow it. I said, I got mine. I only want to look at my autographed copy, but I swear to goodness, it was like some riveting reading. And ladies and gentlemen, please, and we're going to get into it. A life of wins and losses, with adversity comes resilience. I mean, even the title sounds good. But we know what? We're going to go back, forth, change up, get back into it. But I want to take our listeners down memory lane and just, then we go ahead on and hit it full stride. And memory lane always starts at the beginning. And
okay.
let's get right into it. And let's just say, when did you get started in basketball, and when did that whole thing start for you?
I started playing basketball when I was around 7 years old. My brother introduced me to the game of basketball. He had me at the local park doing bounce passes, doing push-ups, at only 7 years old. And
okay.
I mean, if it wasn't for my brother, this story wouldn't even be possible. Basketball saved my life. I don't know where I would be without the game of basketball.
And it's so funny, because for me to hear you say you don't know where you would be out without the game of basketball, it has some really positive rings to it, and it just lets people know the influence and the power that a game can have on somebody's life if you take it and use it, let it use you. Where they say, don't let basketball use you, you use basketball. And you definitely have done that. And, then you talk about your brother. I know, and sometimes I like to say, our little sisters, our little brothers get on our nerves. But when you take out that time and spend with it and you watch it come to fruition, I know he's a really proud individual, So, I mean, that speaks volumes for her. But who were some of your other mentors as time went on that kind of assisted you in getting to where you wanted to go?
I've had a great support system, Clyde. I've had a lot of people mentor me and just been there throughout my whole life. My high school coach, Janelle Spearman, she's a huge part of my life. Whatever I need on and off the court, she was there for me. If I want to stay 3 hours extra in the gym, she was there rebounding for me. My Aunt Ernestine, she took me in at an early age, and I wasn't raised by my mom or my father.
Right.
I was raised by my grandmother, and once she passed away, my Aunt Ernestine took over, and she, just whatever I need, she made sure I had a roof over my head, that I had food to eat on the table, and I was spoiled. She just made sure that I had everything that I needed to be successful. I've had so many people have an impact.
Well,
Once I went to college,
Well, you know what? Before you get to college and go on right there, when you start talking about different impacts, I knew this was going to happen. And like I told you, I'm getting old, girl. So I got to strike while the iron is hot. Hey, we just got a caller already, and this is somebody that you may know also. Johnny, you on the line?
Hey, what's going on, Clyde? What's going on, Tia?
What's going on, Johnny?
I told Johnny, this is Tia, as you know now, he cut his teeth with you guys, and now he's the head coach over at Simeon. I said this state championship team at Simeon. Johnny, go ahead and talk about one of your former players.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and say how proud I am of you, Tia. I had the pleasure of seeing Tia develop as a young lady, and she had that grind back then. I see that's carried over into her adulthood, and to be able to be an author and write a book, less than probably about 0.5%. Less than 1% of the world can say they're an author. So, man, to be able to do that, that's just so much. So I just wanted to call in and say how proud I am of you, Tia.
Hey, let me ask Johnny.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
You know, Johnny was the assistant coach at Hope. When and Tia, you should have played him, but you just bypassed that Frost-off thing.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Johnny, did you think she was gonna play for you when she was a freshman, man?
No, I already knew when she came in. I wasn't getting no time with her on the JV thing.
Oh, okay. Hey, look, 'cause that would have been man bite dog kind of thing right there. I mean, 'cause when she came in with the full regalia. She gonna be the thing, and it didn't disappoint anybody. Hey, Johnny, let me ask you a question, and Tia, maybe you can follow up on this. Like, what did you see as a coach, as a young coach, in Tia that made her into the player that she was?
How hungry she was. I heard her say, she stayed in that gym. That was one of the things that she, Don, Coach Spearman, they used to always just live in the gym with us. Hey, can I shoot some more shots?
Wow.
Yeah, it would be late. They'd be ready to turn the lights off, turn the alarm on, but Tia be in there still shooting. So that grind that she had back then, yeah, that's what made her become the lady that she is now, I'm sure.
Wow. Hey, Johnny, we really appreciate that call. We're going to get back to it, man. But thanks a lot for calling in and just sharing that with the audience right there, man. Really,
no problem.
Man.
Take care, Tia. Take care, Clark.
Okay, man.
You too. Thank you.
Hey, I knew, you know what I said? Well, let me get this in before I forget it. I mean, leave more in there, but I'm glad, you know what, when your coaches come back, the ones that coach, and you were talking about Coach Spearman. Johnny was the assistant coach at that particular time. But we'll go ahead on and run through some of the more some more people that may have touched you, and then I do want to hit on something if you don't really mind going into it. And anything that I ask you and you want to swerve to the left or you want to just not deal with it, I have no problem with that, because, I mean, sometimes talk radio can be a springing on me kind of thing. So, I'm cool with that. So, but you talked about your mentors and things of that nature. You talked about your aunt, your grandmother and your aunt, and they were there for a reason. They came in and filled a void when your parents stepped out, weren't there. And how, as a young person, how did that affect you as you reflect back on it? What did that do to you, or how did you really just go about just keep going sometime? That had to be a really devastating kind of thing.
Yes, Clyde, it was. And this is actually my first time talking about it to the public. It was a tough time. I try to put on this front like everything is okay all the time, but as a 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid, just seeing my mom struggle with drugs, it hurt me, and it brought a lot of trauma to me. It really did, and I just was motivated to just make a better life for myself and for my family. So I just kept pushing and just, I gotta make it. I gotta face every obstacle with motivation.
Wow.
I just wanted to beat the odds. I wanted to beat every statistic that the government say I wouldn't graduate from high school, I wouldn't make it to college. I'm doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to do statistically.
Right.
Like the government, if you're not raised by your parents, they don't expect you to do the things that I'm doing right now.
Right.
So, I did deal with a lot of trauma growing up, just not being raised by my mom or my dad. And I know my mom and dad love me unconditionally, but it was just the circumstances that I was born into. So even though I wasn't born by my mom, I wasn't raised by my mom and dad, I've had a great support system.
Well, yeah, and that's powerful.
It's been amazing. So I'm blessed. I really am blessed, but it has been a lot of trauma to me that I'm still trying to deal with today.
Well, you know what? That is powerful because a person like yourself, and you don't revel in another person's unfortunate circumstances, but we constantly get the negativity and the things of that nature about what happens or what doesn't happen. And then all of a sudden, there are more success stories like this than people like to highlight, because they always want to talk about who's sticking up who's carjacking who, and things of this nature. This is what I really like to reflect back on people like you, where you can show these young people out here, look, you can't pull nothing on me because I came right from where you came from. Don't try it. You know what I mean? You want to get hard, I can get hard. You need somebody there for you, I can do that too. But see, this is the message that and something else. I told y'all this is what happens to me all the time. I start to, hey, look, how in the world somebody that didn't say 2 words become a motivational speaker? That's another. That's another one that just breaks me up. You were like, hey, how you doing? That. You were a person of limited words. Your game. You really didn't talk that much trash on the court. You know what I mean? No. You were like you just went about your business, and when it was all said and done, you had 25, 30, 10, 15 rebounds, 7, 8 assists, things of that nature. And then to read how you have become this dynamic, what went into that?
Yeah, you're right. I was one of the shyest people that you can meet. I wouldn't even talk around my family. And I just think my upbringing and the stuff that I went through just led me to be the person I am today.
Okay.
Just hungry to succeed. I'm an outgoing person, but, I observe a lot and I listen a lot and I watch things because I saw a lot of stuff at an early age.
Right.
And, I like to get the job done. Like when I was on the court, I didn't talk noise. I would just destroy people on the court. And I'm the same way in life. Like I'm business.
Okay.
Business.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I'm trying to use my story to help other people. Like I was shy, but I just want to use my voice. Like I'm 32 years old, and this is my first time speaking about my life. And I know that my story can help others. So I'm like, nah, God kept me here for a reason. And that was to use my voice to tell my story. So I'm gonna try to help as many people as possible.
Well, I'm glad you gave the old man the play, girl. Because I'm telling you, it's just revealing. It's such a revelation for so many. I had one of your teammates on. You two just scared people. You and Jaja, there've been a lot of great players come out of Chicago and things of that nature. But when I think of any 2 players on the same team that just completely just did it, you and Jaja were just cold. And you know what? We have another caller on the line. I'm going to interrupt this conversation just for a second and bring on Brother Brown. You're on with us.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, first of all, God bless the young lady who went and internalized what's happened in your family. Many times people don't know what's going on. There's a quiet fire. So if it's not beneficial, it's artificial. So I'm encouraging you to make sure that book is in every public school that has an athletic department. And the other question I want to say is, when you're recruiting from high school to college, you see the full line. So how has the AAU circuit affected your young ladies going from grammar school, high school, and college? And I get off the phone, and God bless you. And make sure your book is in every public school in Chicago. God bless.
I will. Thank you.
You want to tackle that, Tia?
Yes, I will. The AAU circuit, it's a lot of politics going on.
Okay.
And I don't I really don't think that a lot of these programs are really preparing these young women for the high school level and for college, because you can tell that the fundamentals aren't there.
Okay.
So these AU programs do need to go back to the fundamentals, and it's political. It's a lot of political stuff going on. So we just need to learn that it's about the kids, making them better and preparing them for high school and for the collegiate level.
You know what?
Like, that's what it's all about.
It's almost, well, let's just face it. The AAU is here to stay, but I do hear more and more coaches alluding to the same thing that you talked about. We have to find a better way to interwove them into what is good, beneficial over the kids, instead of just going out and just hooping. And when you come back after the summer, now you got all these bad habits that you picked up because you just out here you need to, just like you said, tune up them fundamentals a little bit, learn the different aspects of your game. But you know what? And that goes on. Now, when you came out of high school, I mean, everybody wanted to you. Okay. All right. There were two schools that were just molly-whopping people. Two schools. You had Marshall, coached by the great legendary Dorothy Gators. And then Whitney Young had just started to hit their stride. Okay. How is it that you chose a little-known school, and went there and you all hit a stride, hit a run, probably you hit about a 10-year run that y'all didn't take a backseat to anybody? I mean, what was that choice? What went into that choice of passing up the power brokers and going to Hope, John Hope?
Yes, Coach Gators called my house, and she wanted me to come to Marshall.
I can see that.
I had a lot of high schools coming after me, but John Hope, a program that's not well known like Whitney Young and Marshall. So I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I want to go to a program where I can make a difference.
Okay.
They were just coming off a state championship run, and there was a lot of seniors graduating. So I saw an opportunity where I can go in and make a difference and get another state championship. So I didn't want to go to a big name school. I wanted to go to a school that was making a name for themselves. And we were fighters. We played with a chip on our shoulders at Hope.
Yeah, you all did that, all right. I mean, because like I said, you all were like gate crashes, party crashes, and everything. When you all came, you all didn't act like you wanted to be there. You all act like you were supposed to be there, and that was I think sometimes when you coming into a new venue and you're trying to make a name for yourself, it's a certain degree of reverence that people like to see. You all came in gangster. I mean, so, but like I said, and you say it didn't back down from anybody, but like I said, I commend you all for what you were doing and the way you did it. Hey, if you had to use one word to sit up there and describe your style, or the style, or the way you played, or your perspective on the game, what would it be?
I would say a silent assassin. Like I didn't talk noise. I just want to go out there and get the job done. And I wanted to win championships. I was all about team. It was never about me. And if you ask anybody that know me, I just want to win at the end of the day. Wow. I want to go out there and just win.
Yeah.
And I use that in my everyday life. Like, whatever I'm doing, I want to be the best me, the best version of me in every part of my life.
Wow. I mean, let me ask you a question. Did you ever feel, I mean, no matter what, I'm going to come back to that because I like that question. I'm going to feel. Now, you and Zsa Zsa were, probably, like I said, two of the best guard combos that I saw, but you had to overcome a lot of adversity. I mean, a lot of adversity. Your senior year was yanked from you because, you messed up your knee, tore up your knee. And I know when that first happened, other than the obvious, what went through your mind? I mean, run me through that. I mean, as painful as it may be, give me a little synopsis of what you were thinking and what your prospect on the future was at that particular time.
when I tore my ACL in the second game, it was heartbreaking. I was trying to figure out a way to play.
Wow.
I was up. We were up for a state championship. Everybody thought we were going to win a state championship, a city championship that year.
Right.
I was a McDonald's All-American nominee. I had all these things right in my face. And to go down with a season in the injury my senior year,
Yeah.
I was asking the doctor, what can I do to play my senior year? I was willing to risk it all. I had already signed with LSU.
Right.
So I'm like, no, I'm about to play on this torn ACL. And people thought I was crazy. But that's just how much I love the game of basketball. A lot of people just like basketball. I love it. It's not a hobby to me. And I was willing to risk it all. So it was heartbreaking. And the injuries just kept going from there.
Yeah.
From that senior year, just kept going when I went to LSU.
Yeah. It was crazy. You may have wanted to play, but LSU said ain't nothing happening.
It wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening. They said you done signed on the dotted line, and you think you gonna do what? He said no. I mean, and I remember when I heard it. I was in another game, and man, it was like. God, it was like the drums were playing. You know what I mean? People say, "Man, it's coming." You like you heard it through the grapevine. Where it was just riveted all through the city that what would happen, and like I said, for you to bounce back and things of that nature. I mean, I just commend you on that aspect of, and I really take my hat off to LSU because they didn't think about wavering in any kind of way in terms of honoring your commitment, your scholarship. So I mean, sometimes things work out what I call in a left-handed way, and it just looked that way for you. So you had, before the end, you had some crazy things happen. You guys were poised to win a state championship. You did get to a second place. Then they tried to snatch that from you so I mean, your life was crazy. I mean, so you get it out of state. You're in this championship game, but you get a second. And then the IHSA says you all played too many games.
Yes.
Now, you won the game. And then after that, people begin paying more attention to the amount of games and things of that nature randomly. I venture to say, man, in my 40 years of covering sports and things of that nature, I guarantee you there's some other people that made some snafus or like that. But how did the team take that, overall?
And I hate to play the race card, but when you're young black girls and you can play basketball, all eyes are going to be on you, so they're going to be looking at every little thing.
Right.
So that played a factor in it, but it was hard.
Yeah. It
was hard as a team, but it would have really sucked if we would have won the state championship and came in first place.
Ooh, well, yeah.
So it kind of. It sucks, but if it would have been first place, it would have hurt a little bit more.
Yeah. But I mean, you know what? As far as anybody in Chicago ever is talking about, it's like that's persona non grata. Ain't nobody even thinking about it. Y'all. And the thing about it, it wasn't taken away from you prior to the game, but they said, "Oh, you all, wasn't it?"
Yeah.
It was the way it was. It was the way it was done. Now the because I remember a similar incident where this involved the boy, and it may have been around the same time, but involved the boys. What was that? Oh my goodness gracious! I can't even. What's the team that plays over there where Collins is right now? North Lawndale.
North Lawndale, yes.
Right, and I think that was around the same time where they penalized North Lawndale because they said their uniforms weren't right and did some old hokey poke stuff like this. I mean, because downstate has, and I don't want to indict everybody downstate, but I mean, downstate has some issues where they can get real minuscule and petty when it came when it came to like Chicago. Hey, you know what? So let's keep it moving. We going on down memory lane. So when you came on down, let's go on to LSU now. You're in you're heading down. You're in LSU. You're coming down there. You're coming off an injury. But you still Tia. You still can ball. You still everything. How was that year of getting acclimated to college life and things that were going on there? And how did that go about? How did that happen?
It wasn't easy. Coming in as a freshman, I was going to a team that was coming off going to 4 straight Final Fours. So I'm talking about players like Sylvia Fowles that going to be a Hall of Famer in the WNBA. Playing with her and Allison Hightower, Erica White, these are people who have played in the league. So I'm going in, and they have like 8 seniors, so I'm playing behind them. And I've never played behind anybody in my life.
Okay.
So that was a struggle.
Okay.
It was a struggle for me trying to adjust to not playing at all.
Hey.
Not playing. I'm coming from starting my whole career to being on the bench. So I had to learn. My freshman year, but I learned from a great group of young ladies. And I had times when I thought about transferring, but I stuck it out.
Wow.
I stuck it out, and I learned everything that I could. I said I had front row seats for every single game my freshman year.
Hey,
I was learning for the best, Clyde. I was learning from the best.
I know you were, but like you said, you didn't never take a back seat to anybody. Now, and that's one thing. That's the beauty of sports, and that's that thing that sometimes people don't understand how. You know, I mean, they'd say, "Hey, what you want, shorty? You ain't ready for none of this." I mean, how did they treat you? I mean, was it did they give you the blues during that first year in terms of like say, "Hey, you know, we're gonna let you know you ain't ready yet." Oh
yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I love it.
Oh yeah. It was like love and basketball moment. Like never never let a freshman take your spot. Like they let me know it's not gonna be easy.
Okay. I mean that's the beauty of the game and the camaraderie and the respect that is later built up that a lot of people don't even understand. You know, and then so. All right, let's throw that old freshman year out now. From then on, it was like all you know. You hit your stride, and then let's talk about that.
Yes, so, and we were able to do some great things my freshman year. I'm sorry, we made it to a Final Four. So I'm a part of the last Final Four team at LSU. So that's a great thing. That's something that, you know, I'll cherish for a lifetime. So going into my sophomore season and junior season, senior season, I was the starting point guard for the next 3 years.
Wow, okay.
And I faced a lot of injuries. My freshman year, I tore my ACL at LSU. My sophomore year, I came back and broke my collarbone diving for a loose ball against Louisville in the NCAA tournament. The next 2 years, I had 2 real bad concussions. So, you know, I was the starting point guard, but I was facing a lot of adversity because I kept getting hurt.
Wow.
But every injury, I just wanted to come back stronger.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't going to give up.
Right.
I had 2 torn ACLs at back-to-back, high school and freshman year, then a broken clavicle. So I was doing a lot of rehab, but I just kept fighting.
Now,
I just wanted to fight and keep getting better and, you know, to help my team.
Now, did you have to take a medical or you played through all that?
No, I played through all of it. I never took a red shirt medical.
Wow. All right. Well, it must have worked out all right. I mean, I ain't going to say it must have worked out. The proof is in the pudding, as old folks like to say. I mean, because you are who you are, and we're going to get all that in. But, you know, now, after you get out of LSU and you move on and things of that nature, you had a brief, you know, stint. You went over in Europe, Germany to be exact. And how did that kind of thing talk about that move and that kind of transition and when you started to say, hey, look, I got to start looking in another direction?
As far as basketball?
Yeah, as far as basketball, yes.
So my senior year in college, I had a life-threatening illness that I dealt with, and called Guillain-Barré syndrome. And I was set to graduate from LSU, and a couple of weeks before I was set to graduate, I was in ICU fighting for my life. So instead of my family coming to graduation, they had to come see me on a ventilator in ICU. So that changed the game. Like, I had plans of going overseas straight after graduation. But my senior year, I was after the season was over, I was in a hospital fighting for my life. And
you know what? Before we go any farther, I mean that illness is Guillain-Barré syndrome. Can you kind of explain it to the listening audience with the severity of what that is?
Yeah, so I woke up one morning and I couldn't walk on my own. I didn't, I couldn't see straight, couldn't keep my balance, and it's an autoimmune disease. I was sick, and instead of my body fighting off the illness, my body just shut down and attacked my immune system. And it only happens to 1 out of 200,000 people. So God chose me to fight that battle for a reason. So it was hard. It really was hard. I couldn't see straight for about 8 months. My vision was really bad.
Okay.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. Couldn't eat. I was on a feeding tube. So, it's a really rare disorder that athletes usually doesn't happen to. Right. So it was hard, but I'm telling you, Clyde, every injury and every illness that I had, it helped me. It helped me become a better person and a stronger person.
You the poster child for don't quit. I know that. Because you don't have any quit. I appreciate you. You sharing this, with the audience and letting people know, hey, and when Johnny was on, Coach Davenport was on, he was like, you always been a grinder. And people sometimes think it's just because you're an athlete, just because you go to school on a scholarship, it's smooth sailing. But it's not always like that. But so you got all that under control. And
yes.
And then you had to make another chapter and, go forge your way into another chapter. And you realize that basketball thing, you want to stay connected, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you stay connected by coaching.
Yes, I started coaching.
Okay. Now, when did you start developing the idea, perspective that, this is it for me. This is what I want to do.
When I was told that I was cut by the team in Germany, I wanted to figure out a way where I can stay connected to the game of basketball. And I was like, maybe I never thought about coaching before in my life, but I was like, maybe I should try coaching. And I was given the opportunity. Coach Hank Hicks, he actually got me my first coaching job at LeMoyne College.
Wow. Is that Hank Hicks from Westinghouse?
Yeah.
Man, it ain't nothing like family, boy. Ain't nothing there. You playing against Hank. That is really something, man. Hank's good people all the way.
Yeah.
All right, but go ahead and let's finish on up.
So I've had the opportunity to coach at LeMoyne College and Kentucky State University, 2 historically black colleges, and I've loved it. For 7 years, I've been able to mentor girls on and off the basketball court, develop them as young ladies, develop their game on the basketball court, and I love it.
Right.
I love, just seeing people that look like me, and just helping them, because I'm hearing some of the stuff that I'm going through, they're going through. So I'm able to share my story and to help guide them through this thing called life.
Well,
I love it. I love it.
Well, you know what, and it must love you, because like I'm saying, when you were at Kentucky State for 4 years, you were named the interim coach, interim head coach, and hopefully things will get back in gear after this pandemic is over. I'm gonna get back to that pandemic in a little bit, but I don't want to take the chance of not getting to this book. Now, all right, you got it. You're a great player.
Yes.
Very good coach. You got the motivational thing. This is driving me. I said, wow, when she, I still can't got me, because I know Tia, not that you couldn't articulate your point, because that was never in question. You just didn't say a whole lot. So now I'm talking to people, man. They say, man, she can put it down, man. You ought to just be in there when she's talking to people. I was like, okay, I can believe it, But now, what in the world? When did this book thing come about? How did that evolve? It seemed like everything is a new adventure for you.
Yeah, so a lot of people, just like you, just thinking I just came out the blue with this book. I started working on this book in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
So it took me 7 years to get this done, and this pandemic allowed me to get it done. I was focused.
Wow.
These last 8 months, I have been grinding trying to get this done.
Okay.
And I self-published, so everything that you see with this book, came from me and my high school teacher. My sister helped with some stuff. My aunt, my mother, she helped with some stuff in around 2013. So it was a lot that went into this book. I've been grinding trying to get this done because I was like, this is a story, and I have a testimony that people need to hear.
Wow.
And it can help a lot of people, not just in Chicago, but in the world, I believe.
Well, you know, and that's what. So talk a little bit. You know, I understand it's written. It's a beautiful written book. It's a life of wins and losses. It's so inspirational. You know, to not only young girls. That's the good part about it. It's not. You know, it's not one of those things. Say, oh yeah, she wrote a book, you know, about girls, and I'm not going to read it because I'm a boy. You know what I mean? It doesn't relate to me. I mean, your journey, your ride, your trip was like something that everybody can share in because it's full of ups and downs, wins, losses, and one word that you use this a lot in the book was resiliency. And,
yeah.
And how impactful was that word to you and the way in which you lived your life and you were able to expound in your book?
Yeah, I love the word resilience. It's just, you know, I had no other choice. I never used my situation or my circumstances as a crutch. I never wanted anybody to feel sorry for me. And, you know, I just knew I had to be resilient. I had to overcome the things that I was going through. Everything that I was going through, I used it as motivation. You know, every single chapter in my book, you're going to see some type of adversity, but you're going to see that I'm going to find some way to turn that negativity into a positive. Well,
you know, that is, and think about negativity and things of that nature, you know, as a coach, you know, as a person, you know, as a former player. I mean, can you put yourself in the mindset of these young girls right now, or young players in particular, that have to deal with, number one, the social climate of the day, and number two, the pandemic?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I know it's hard for a lot of young women out here, young men that's going through this pandemic. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we have to understand it's hard right now. And that's all you see over the internet and on social media talking about COVID-19, the vaccination. But this story is going to end someday. We got to understand that. And we're going to, each and every one of us are going to be able to create our own storyline. So we can't let this pandemic control us. Like, we got to keep grinding. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have our days, but we got to keep grinding and understand that we're going to make our own headline story. This pandemic is going to go away at some point. But we got to keep God first and just keep grinding and stay focused.
Wow.
And make our own headline. Because COVID-19 headline is going to leave one day.
Yeah. Well, okay, it's going to leave, but it's going to leave some terrible scars also.
It is.
And by that, you know, I mean, how are young people, and I'd like to qualify this because some people don't like brutal honesty. You know, less than 5% of the people who play high school ball get scholarships anyway. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's also almost a foregone conclusion and a rite of passage that if you're good enough to be on those high school teams or whatever, those are lasting memories. At the same time, how do you deal with, let's say, that elite athlete such as yourself, who, especially right now, you may not even be recruited. I mean, what do you tell your players? I mean, you know, what do you tell us? Let's say for you, a high school coach. What do you tell a high school coach or even a college? High school player, or even a college player who has aspirations of going on to the next level, but you know the season is canceled, half played, and things of that nature. I mean, do you tell them to approach it differently, or how do you get into their heads?
You got to stay positive. You, as a coach, you can't feed into the negativity, even though it's our world right now and it's our circumstances. You just got to keep feeding them positivity. Like, everything's going to be okay. We're going to make a way. Like, you've got aspirations to play Division I, Division II, NAIA. Like, we're going to make it happen. Like, you can't defeat them and tell them that they're not going to succeed. Like, as a coach, you got to do whatever you can to do to make sure they're still grinding on and off the basketball court, in a classroom, to get them to their next level if they have the potential.
Well, you know what, and that's, you know what, you faced a lot of obstacles. You've been tough at every level. You've overcome everything. But I want to ask you something. How's motherhood?
Oh, motherhood.
Hey, you got a little shorty over there. I mean, what kind of patience are you exercising? I mean, come on. I know they got to be like, the young women is always interested to see how people just approach that who really you tell me. I mean, I love it because it's all about evolution, the evolutionary process of life. And motherhood, I mean, has it changed you in any kind of way, or what is it?
It has.
Okay.
Naomi, her name is Naomi. She's 2 years old, and she's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
She's amazing.
Okay.
My perspective on life is just different. Everything that I do is for her.
Okay.
So my grind and my motivation and what I'm trying to do right now, everything is for her.
Wow. Okay.
So with my book, I'm trying to do a lot with my book. As far as my mission, I'm trying to, everything, the royalties that I make from the book, half of the proceeds are going back to the city of Chicago. I'm trying to do free basketball camps. I want to do some motivational speaking with the Chicago Public Schools, and I know the caller talked about that. I'm already on it.
Wow.
So that's something that I already got in place that I want to do. And once I leave, Naomi's my legacy. So I want her to continue my legacy. She's going to get the royalties, and she's going to continue the mission that I'm trying to do. So it's all about, leaving my legacy behind, and she's my legacy. So I want her to continue my legacy.
Well, she got one heck of a role model, and things of that nature. I mean, have you stayed? I mean, now could you see yourself coaching her down the line? Because you mentioned AAU, you mentioned all these things. Well, she's going to be in that new wave of how this whole thing is working out. Could you see yourself coaching your daughter down the line?
I'm already coaching her, Clyde. She has a ring in her room, and we do layups. And
oh my God! Wait a minute, how old is she? Wait a minute, she's just a little. How old is she?
She's 2.
That's what I thought. I would.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Hey, you got her doing layups already, huh?
Yes.
Oh, that's.
I'm being she's gonna be the number 1 player in the country.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, hey, well, that is projective index and some serious planning. But you know what? God, like I said, God willing and the creek don't rise. I'm around to see all that because I have no doubt, so forth and so on. Hey, now, do you stay connected to any of your former players, high school or college?
Oh, my teammates?
Yeah, teammates, yeah.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
My teammates, I have some amazing teammates, and they came to my baby shower. They were at my book signing that I had in October in Chicago. I keep in contact with a lot of them. Jaja was there. My high school coach, Coach Spearman, Coach Hank was there. So okay. I keep up with a lot of people. My teammates from LSU, like, oh my God, that's family.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's bigger than basketball. They done helped me through everything.
Wow. I mean, that is so much because when I look back on, you hear all the horror stories about, coaches running people off. They got hurt. They can't deliver. They can't play. And it seems to me like, yours was quite the opposite. Now they didn't cut you any slack after you started playing. You still had to earn everything, and things of that. That was on you as well as should be. But just the idea of the way I was hearing that they stepped up for you and things of that nature. I do know about that story when you thought you were going to play and the word came down. I hope you don't think you're going to play, you know. So, but I mean, because you all, and everybody knows, it'd have been very hard for you all not to win a state championship team with that crew. That crew that you had because, well, you were a year ahead of Jaja, right?
Yes.
Okay, right. Because you were. I mean, like I said, you would have probably one of the top 2 or 3 players in Chicago at that time, and then and Jaja had to be one of the top juniors, at that time. Plus, the way you all played, it was relentless. It was going to get down, because I think Whitney Young had just put a little crimp in Marshall because Marshall had won 27 straight.
Yeah.
And I think, was that your team that beat them and knocked that 27 straight, or the team before you? I
think it was the team before.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. The crew before you had just. I'm pretty sure. So Dorothy, if I'm making a mistake, I apologize. But I think I think Marshall. I think you guys may have broke the streak, and I think maybe it was Whitney Young that came back and started doing some things and won 9 straight after that. But, so, I mean, it's just, we need you in Chicago. I mean, do not think that you are, and trust me, it's so many people listening right now. So many people, the Gene Henrys, the Don Pittmans, the, people who have always, held you in high esteem. It's so many people that you need to get in contact, we need to put you in contact with. So there's no way, shape, form, or fashion that a voice such as yourself is not heard. And like I said, it's such an inspirational story that you got throwing down right here. I mean, you ever think about doing another book?
I am. I'm in the process. I'm working on it now, so that's the thing. I'm working. I might not be saying anything, but I'm working. I want to do series 2 of The Life of Wins and Losses because that's not the end of my story.
Okay.
And I do want to do a children's book because my daughter loves to read.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of working on that.
Wow. I mean, so okay. So this is you have basically turned your basketball. You have made this thing really work for you. Because I mean, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I mean, I've always been an avid reader, but I can put down a book as quick as I can pick it up. So I mean, like I said, and this is one, A Life of Wins and Losses. With adversity comes resilience. And this is one that I implore you. I mean, now how can they get the book?
You can find it on Amazon. It's on Amazon. So you can go to Amazon and type in my name, Latir Eastland, or you can type in A Life of Wins and Losses and it'll pop up.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, this is amazing. Well, you know what? I got a good name. Well, I will tell you what. If you ever, if any way that like I can help you down the line, whatever, because I'm so inspired because I know young girls sometimes catch the short end of the stick, So when they look back and they see somebody like yourself, and especially somebody, I love to see it when people who have the utmost potential, if overcome the obstacle of not having that initial dream fulfilled. And I may have misstated that. I don't love to see that happen. I love to see the same fight and resiliency and the toughness that you all approach life with, such as yourself. Because I know that had to be devastating for you when you realized that you couldn't play anymore, up to the standards that you set, and and then go on with your life.
Yes, it was hard. It was hard. It was a hard decision. I mean, I started playing a game of basketball at the age of 7, and somebody that loved the game like me, it was hard to put up my hooping shoes. It was truly hard, but I had to come to reality and make a decision. And sometimes in life, you have to make those decisions, and I made the best decision for me and my health.
Did you when you made that decision and you moved on? Did you? I don't want to use the word. I mean, did somebody else? Was it a decision that you made solely? It was you, or did you seek some counseling or not counseling, whatever what am I looking for? Just guidance or whatever, somebody you may have talked to, or did you sit down and reflect, introspect yourself and say, you know what, this has to be all on me, so forth and so on. I want to do it myself. I mean, how did you just really quickly take us through that process?
I came up with the decision on my own.
Okay.
It was a life situation that happened, and I was like, man, I need to figure out another route. And I chose to get into coaching.
Wow. You know what? Well, you know, okay. Well, do we have time to get Brother Brown? Okay, we're gonna go with Brother Brown real quick, brother. Come on.
Quick, let her know that we got a young lady from Whitney Young High School going to Alamana.
Oh yeah.
I know. I saw that.
All right, so y'all getting the killers off the west side.
What'd you say, Brown?
I said y'all getting the killers off the south side and the west side. I know y'all should talk because those who've gone through the road know how the road is. God bless.
All right, man. I appreciate that. Have you talked with this young lady? Yeah, because she played at Whitney Young. She's pretty good. Little guard. She's pretty good. I actually saw it on the internet that she was going. I haven't talked to her. Okay, I think her last name is Tamia Ware. Yeah, she's pretty good. I mean, so and you know she's getting down there where you all are. That she had to bring it. You know, like I said, I hope that you can find a way to get in contact with her and things of that nature, or I can have her, you know, kind of, because there's nothing better than having a mentor such as yourself, or somebody that can just really, you know, show her the true ropes and things of that nature. Hometown girl. And you know what? We're gonna close this down, but look. I am so glad you gave me this opportunity and even took the time to elaborate on some of the things that happened to your life, positive, negative, ups and downs, ins and out, and the way you constantly just overcome everything and just striving and continue.